Welcome to Space Knowhow, exploring the universe, one mystery at a time. What if, one day, the Earth simply stopped spinning? No warning, no slowing down, just silence. Right now, as you're watching this, Earth is spinning at about 1,670 kilometers per hour at the equator. You don't feel it, you don't notice it, but it's happening, constantly, and everything on this planet depends on it. So what would happen if it suddenly stopped? Let's imagine the impossible. The moment Earth stops spinning, everything on the surface keeps moving at 1,670 kilometers per hour. Because motion doesn't just disappear, cars, buildings, oceans, even the air itself would continue moving eastward at incredible speed. The result? Instant global catastrophe. Winds faster than any hurricane ever recorded would tear across the planet. Entire cities would be ripped apart in seconds. Skyscrapers would collapse. Forests would flatten. Anything not anchored to bedrock would be violently swept away. The oceans would surge forward. Massive megatsunamis would crash into continents, flooding everything in their path. Coastlines would be erased. And the atmosphere? It wouldn't stay calm. The air itself would keep moving at extreme speed, creating shockwaves across the entire planet. Imagine standing outside and suddenly being hit by winds faster than a jet. Survival on the surface would be nearly impossible. But the chaos doesn't stop there. Earth's rotation is what creates our day and night cycle. Without it, half the planet would face the sun permanently. The other half would be trapped in eternal darkness. One side burns, the other freezes. On the sunlit side, temperatures would rise beyond anything we experience today. Oceans would begin to evaporate. Deserts would expand. The ground itself could become too hot to sustain life. Meanwhile, the dark side would become a frozen wasteland. Temperatures would drop to extreme lows. Oceans would freeze solid. The atmosphere itself could begin to condense. Two worlds on one planet, a line between fire and ice. And along that line, the twilight zone might be the only place where life could survive. But even that wouldn't be stable. Because Earth's rotation does more than create day and night. It also shapes our planet. Right now, Earth is slightly bulged at the equator. Centrifugal force pushes water outward, creating the oceans as we know them. If Earth stopped spinning, that force disappears, and gravity takes over. Water would begin moving toward the poles, slowly, but relentlessly. Over time, oceans would drain from the equator and collect near the north and south poles. Entire continents near the equator would emerge. New land would appear where oceans once existed. And the poles? They would be covered by massive planet-sized oceans. The geography of Earth would completely change. Maps would become meaningless. But what about gravity? Would it change? Surprisingly, no. Earth's gravity would remain almost the same. You wouldn't suddenly float away. But the distribution of mass, the oceans, the atmosphere, would shift dramatically. And then there's something even more important. Earth's magnetic field. The magnetic field protects us from harmful solar radiation. It's generated by the motion of molten metal inside Earth's core. And while Earth stopping its rotation wouldn't immediately shut it down, over time, the system could weaken. If the magnetic field collapses, the sun's radiation would begin to strip away our atmosphere, just like what happened to Mars. Without protection, life on the surface would become even more dangerous. Radiation levels would rise. The sky itself would change. Auroras might appear across the entire planet, but they wouldn't be beautiful anymore. They would be a warning. And what about satellites? GPS, communication, weather tracking, all of it depends on stable rotation. Without it, systems would fail. Navigation would become unreliable. Global communication would collapse. Civilization as we know it would begin to break down. But here's a question that might surprise you. Would humanity survive? Maybe. Underground bunkers, geothermal energy, artificial habitats in the twilight zone. Humans are adaptable. We might find ways to survive in extreme conditions, but life would never be the same. The blue planet we know would be gone, replaced by a divided world of extremes. One side burning under constant sunlight, the other frozen in eternal night. And in between, a narrow band of fragile survival. But here's something even more fascinating. What if Earth didn't stop suddenly, but slowly, over millions of years? In that case, life might adapt. Days would grow longer. Climate systems would shift gradually. Species would evolve to survive extreme temperatures. Civilizations could prepare, migrate, adapt. In that scenario, Earth wouldn't die instantly. It would transform. But in our original scenario, a sudden stop. The result is clear: global destruction, climate collapse, mass extinction. Earth would become a completely different world. Not destroyed, but unrecognizable. So the next time you watch a sunrise, or feel the gentle rhythm of day turning into night, remember this: it's all because Earth is spinning, silently, constantly, perfectly balanced. A motion we never notice, but completely depend on. If it ever stopped, everything would change. If you enjoyed this journey into the extreme possibilities of our planet, don't forget to subscribe. Space Knowhow explores the mysteries that make us question reality itself. And sometimes, the scariest possibilities are the ones happening right beneath our feet. Look around you. The world feels still, but it isn't. It's moving faster than you can imagine, and maybe that's what keeps us alive. This is Space Knowhow, and the universe still has secrets waiting to be discovered.